There is a full invasion going on right now, Tiki. Can you feel it?
Hold on, Evan. Tell me what the ticket prices are going for right now. Because have you guys got your tickets yet, right?
That is incorrect, sir.
You have not got your tickets yet.
I'm playing a little game here. We're going to wait. We're going to wait these Bostonians out,
All right, so if you were doing it right now, how much do the tickets cost to Game 5 at the TD Garden?
So I hope everybody's sitting down or they're in their car and they're ready to change their plans. Because we heard at Madison Square Garden that the get-in price was over $1,000.
Yes.
That was true. Right now, the get-in price at TD Bank Garden is $175.
All right, New Yorkers, get in your cars. I don't care what you're doing. Call up your grandmamas or your grandfathers or babysitters or whatever it is. Tell them you need an emergency sitter for your kids. Get in your cars and drive up to Boston. If you get in the car right now, I think it'll take 4 hours, 4.5 hours or so. You could make it before tip. Let's do that.
Oh, absolutely. Tiki, I think there's a clock on New Yorkers right now. You got about an hour and a half, okay? If you wait any time past 3:30, and by the way, speaking of 3:30, we'll be splitting the signal today, so we'll be on doing our full show on the FM side. If you want to catch the Yankee-Mariner game, that'll be on 660. So easy peasy, flip on over for the rubber game of that 3-game series. But I think 3:30 is the cutoff time.
Yeah.
Because if you wait any longer than that, you're going to run out of time. The game's at 7 o'clock.
Well, if you're in New York City, you might be, out of luck, because I'm looking at it right now from 345 Hudson, which is where we are.
Yes.
Because of traffic in and around the city, which is gross today because of the weather, it's saying 5 hours. So if you left, it says 5 hours from 345 Hudson. So hopefully you're on the outskirts of the city or you're in Westchester. Hell, even maybe Jersey, you'll get there faster. But New Yorkers, go invade.
Wow. I left beautiful Westchester at about 9 a.m. and I flew up here. And I noticed something as I was driving up. I noticed a lot of New York plates. And when I stopped at a rest stop, and I had to stop numerous times because I have this issue where I have to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
What happens when you drink gallons of water every day?
I know. I ran into so many people in orange and blue. And I don't even mean Met shirts. I mean Knicks shirts. And I've been very friendly to them because here's what I realized, because we did this a year ago when we went to Philadelphia for game number 6, I guess it was, game 6 down in Philadelphia. I realized that once I get into the opposing city, a city that, with all due respect, and I appreciate WEEI hosting us, I don't really like this city. I mean, they're the enemy. Listen, I hate the Patriots. I don't like the Red Sox. Like, what do you want from me? As I enter the city, Tiki, I become very proud as a New Yorker. Nice. Despite my personal issues with the New York Knicks.
I told you you would become a quasi-Knick fan for the day.
I didn't say that.
No, you will. You will not be rooting for the Boston Celtics. I can promise you that. You may be sitting quietly when the Knicks have some success, but you are a New Yorker right now. That means you represent the Knicks. Knicks, Evan.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but I will tell you this. This is a real opportunity if you can get out of work and leave early. And I'll tell you why. First of all, we all have gut feelings, and we'll make predictions, and we'll break down this game as the show goes on. But my gut feeling is that this thing ends tonight. I'm being dead honest. I'm not trying to jinx you. I'm not trying to play any games. I think that the Knicks are all business tonight. I think they know what's on the line. I think that they know that despite the injury to Jason Tatum, this is still a sleeping giant with a lot of talent, with a championship pedigree. The NBA Finals MVP is still playing, Jaylen Brown. And I think the Knicks are going to meet the urgency of the moment. So if I'm right, if my gut feeling is right, if you're a Knicks fan, you have a chance to be in the building to witness something you haven't seen in 25 years, which is advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right, for less than $200 to boot.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And you're going to have look, you had probably the best player on the court anyways in the first 4 games of this series, which I was talking about Jalen Brunson, but now with Jason Tatum out, it's not even a question. You're going to have the best player. You have the best opportunity to close this thing out on the road and do it, and it's so satisfying. Just like last year in Philadelphia, when you close out a rival and do it in their home court, it is very, very fulfilling.
This city does mean a lot to me, the city of Boston, because I've got some personal memories here. And my favorite personal memory, even though technically it was in Boston, but it counts the same, Teak, was in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Because I was in the building for Jets Patriots after the 2010 regular season when they met in the divisional round. Basically the equivalent of the round the Knicks are in right now. And when I drove up to Foxborough that night, outnumbered by many Patriot fans, I couldn't fantasize about how it would feel to actually win that game, end their season, and walk out of Gillette Stadium a conquering hero. And I will tell you this, Teak, and this is why if the opportunity is there for the Knicks fan, you take advantage of it. If I had to rank all my sports memories, towards the top, I don't know if it's number one, but it's up there, it's in the discussion, is walking out of Foxborough after the Jets beat the Patriots to advance to the AFC Championship game. You're right, Teak. Winning on the road, that little silence, that eerie silence that can be created in a building, especially a building you don't like, against a team you don't like. The Celtics aren't a nameless, faceless opponent. They're the Celtics.
Yes.
They're the boogeyman with the history and the Bill Russell and the Green and the Larry Bird and the Paul Pierce and all that overrated garbage. A chance to eliminate them in their building and hear that silence? That's exciting me, and I don't even like the Knicks.
Well, I mean, it's exciting because we witnessed it last year in Philadelphia, and
yes.
the depression that you feel on the home team, the home crowd. Really, forget the team because they're whatever. It is their season, but the crowd, the fan, the local fan, when they can do nothing but walk out with their head down is so awesome to see. And you know what happens? It's the same thing happening in Detroit. Right? You see the Knicks fans start to take over. Right? You see the Knicks fan become, I don't know, louder than even the home crowd could have possibly been, and they linger. Knicks fans linger. So if you're taking the drive, Knicks fan, and this thing does close out, linger. Make them kick you out like they did in Game 2.
The other reason it's probably a good idea to linger, and I'll be lingering all night no matter what the result is I think getting out of the parking lot I put my car in near TD Bank Garden is probably going to take about 3.5 hours when the game ends. So that's another reason to linger and enjoy the sights and the sounds of Boston. I was thinking about this, too, on the ride up, and I think this is a very split reaction from our fellow New Yorkers. Last year, the Knicks closed it out in Philly. And that is special to a lot of New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Boston and Philly are sort of similar in terms of we have respect for the city because they are similar to us in terms of the passion.
Right, Northeast.
We don't like Northeast. We don't like their teams. What would be sweeter? Eliminating a Philadelphia team or eliminating a Boston team? And the more I thought about it, the more I think it comes down to the other teams you root for. So in the case of Tommy, who's wearing his beautiful Jalen Brunson T-shirt. That is his choice to walk into the Garden tonight, the fake Garden tonight. My guess for Tommy, and you tell me if I'm wrong, bro, is beating Philadelphia sweeter because of the history you have with the Eagles and with the Phillies. Am I wrong about that?
It's a complicated question, so I'll give you a complicated answer. I, of course, out of any city in our great country, hate Philadelphia the most.
Nice.
But as far as a basketball team, as far as their fans, as far as a franchise, there is not one that I hate more than the Boston Celtics. So everything that I felt last year, and this is for anybody driving up or considering buying tickets, if I could bottle up that feeling that I had in Philadelphia last year, walking out of that building, celebrating with the Knicks fans that were there after we eliminated Philadelphia, if I could bottle that up and sell it to people, I'd be a billionaire. There's just something about...
Are you an adult or are you a child?
Yeah, right up his you-know-what. There is a bond and a kinship that you have, Tikhonov, where you are amongst, let's say, 20-30% of fans in hostile territory around the Bostonians, or in that case, Philadelphia people, and you just feel this bond and this kinship that you'll never forget, invading a building and then obviously having that sweet taste of victory. So, to answer your question, this would be sweeter only because it's my basketball team, and I hate the Celtics.
Well, I mean, look, I hear you. And it's funny because I was talking to Ack right when he was finishing right before he started his update, and he was talking about, Evan and Tommy are up in Boston. And I was like, you know what? Those two are the epitome of fan. meaning fanatic, you're obviously a sports fanatic, Evan, so it doesn't matter what sport we're talking about, at least the ones that you follow, because you're not doing this for soccer, but you know what I mean. But,
no, not quite.
But Tommy, being an enormous Knicks fan, this is like the epitome of it, right? This is why you root for your team. This is why you crave that moment, that opportunity for this huge step in success for the Knicks. And so I'm glad you guys made the trip. It wasn't as much of a hike as I thought it was going to be. 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Not bad. That was simple for you guys to get up there, and hopefully you come back with a big victory.
You know, Tommy does bring up a very good point about this franchise. These are the Celtics.
Right.
They're the Celtics. As much as we don't like them, a part of us respects them because they've won 1 billion championships.
Right, and they have a long history of it.
An incredibly long history. They've rebuilt themselves numerous times, and the Knicks have a chance, and I think this is what could make this even more special. They have a chance to not just pull off what is a huge upset. We debated that going into this series, the magnitude of the upset compared to other New York-Boston upsets, but they've got a chance to end them. They have a chance to end a chapter in Celtics history because I've done a lot of studying over the last 24 hours. I'm studying these people. I'm studying the Bostonians. I'm listening to their sports talk radio. I'm reading their newspapers. I'm talking to people in the streets. Believe it or not, I did. Wasn't my Uber driver, but as I was waiting for my Uber, I struck up a conversation with a guy who runs the hotel right across the street. It started with, "Do you have availability tonight?" It ended when he said, "We do. It's $900 a night."
Oh, wow.
And I said, "That's not happening, sir." But then we talked Celtic basketball. And it's fascinating what's happening right now in this town. There's a sadness. There's a sadness because of what happened to Jason Tatum, which we share. We all feel bad about it. And there's also a sadness because their window to win multiple championships is about to close.
Yeah.
The moment the Knicks eliminate them, whether it's tonight in Boston, whether it's Friday at Madison Square Garden. By the way, if it gets to a next Monday in Boston, we got some problems. We'll talk about that later. But they know it's over. And so not only do you get a chance to pull off a huge upset, you have a chance to end them.
Right.
Because the talk around town right now is, what are they going to do? Are they going to trade Jaylen Brown? Are they going to trade KP? Are they going to trade Derek White? Like, they may have an auction when this season is over, and the Knicks have a chance to end them, and I do think that adds to the specialness of tonight, not just advancing for your own sake, but ending a rival, ending a team with such a storied history.
Yeah, that's the one of the it's like the next step after you win a championship. Boston obviously did it last year, and we talked about how the road was groove for them a little bit, but whatever it is, they won a championship, and it was their 18th, which obviously is the most in NBA in history. But the next step, like the greedy step for the fan, and this is the Boston fan now, is, all right, let's start a dynasty. Right, let's get back to back. Let's try to go back to back to back. And you think you got the players to do it, but because of the Tatum injury, you're right, Evan. If the Knicks close this thing out on the road, it's over for a year. Right? I don't see the Boston. Maybe they'll surprise us, but I don't see the Boston Celtics being the favorite without Jason Tatum going into the 2025-2026 season as a team that's potentially winning another championship. So it ends if the Knicks end it tonight. And that's, look, from a Knicks standpoint, that's motivating. Now, I don't think the players are going to think that way. I think the players are more about, we got to handle business that's directly in front of us. But from a big macro look, 30,000-foot view look, what you're saying is dead on. The Celtics this might be the end of this little window that they had to win championships.
And speaking of windows, we'll get into what this means for the Knicks opportunity, not just this season, but moving forward. Plus more from what I'm hearing about on the streets of Boston. They got a lot of strong opinions about what may happen tonight. We'll get to your calls coming up, 888-808-1019. We also have NFL schedule leaks that we will react to. We'll get you set for a matinee Yankee game that you can hear on the AM side today with the pregame show beginning at 3:25. We're going to be here throughout the day, so if you stick it on the Odyssey app or on the FM side, we're here getting you set for what is a monumental night in New York sports. Toll-free numbers 888-808-1019.